On today's episode, we will be discussing the Hindi 2024 movie Laapata Ladies, directed by Kiran Rao,
Oh,
and tomorrow, a 2022 novel by Gabriel Zevin. The thing is, these seem like two completely different genres, right? Laapata Ladies, a Hindi movie based in villages, the locals of completely like local areas of India, and then this movie set in the metropoles about gaming and like the very cosmopolitan life, families in LA and San Francisco and New York. So what's the commonality? Both of these have a great theme of how discrimination and stereotypes are happening across the globe. So thousands of miles away in India, in a village in Chhattisgarh, there is this stuff going on. And on the other side of the world, living completely really what we would consider very westernized civilizations and people who are born and brought up in the USA, all of this stuff that's going on in this book, which I'll get to later, there is a current theme of how women are labeled. No matter how much we can wear the clothes, we can talk the talk, but are we really changing up here, guys? Are we really getting out of these stereotypes, and not labeling others, right? So I just watched this movie, Laapata Ladies, this week. And after it was nominated for the Oscars, right? And I've seen it flash up, and I have to admit, I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch this. I'm more of the glamour kind of movies. I like the escapism.
oh, Simrit, of course, you watched it after you got to know that it has been nominated for Oscars. But I watched it way back, when it came on Netflix. I was like, I want some little good comedy, something. And one of my friends recommended, watch Laapata Ladies. It's very interesting. They're like, yeah, what else would be there? Ladies must have got lost or something or the other, something very kind of what the way it is, like what's. And then of course the cover page was like more of a local rural look of the females. Like, oh my god, I was not sure whether I will be able to watch it. Then I asked my husband, let's watch it. Like, yeah, reviews are good, ratings are good, let's watch it. So that is how we decide on. And the moment we started watching, it's like it felt funny. And it also felt like, oh my god, I remember my grandma told me similar stories.
Oh, way, really?
Yes, yes. Parts of Haryana, where, or in fact, rural India, where, still it is there. This is practice. Earlier, it was like the married woman has to cover her face, no matter where. The moment they're outside the house, they need to. So this was being followed by everyone, right? And the husband, they will walk next to their husbands. They can't even hold hands. That is also not. That was not also considered good, right? Holding hands and walking. So socially, it was not acceptable. And then she was like, once I was at the bus stand, because they used to use a lot of public transport, and I was at the bus stand, and and I was like, the moment, and I was thinking somewhere else, and the bus came, and my grandfather, he boarded the bus, and there was like a lot of females wearing similar costume. So it was like, and I was still standing, and the moment I like, he's not there. Yeah. And then when he got up on the bus, he thought she is with her because that same color, that dress, dupatta, yeah, that other lady was also wearing. And it's like, okay, she's there. When the next stop came and the other lady, got down, and like he realized, oh my God, I lost my wife. She's not here.
So this is a real Laapata Ladies.
It is real. It is real. I was like, oh my God, this did happen. And it was not stupid. If somebody might feel, anywhere around the world that, oh, this is very stupid. How can that be even possible?
So the storyline is that, what happens in this, for those people who haven't watched this, is that this newly wed couple gets on a train and the woman is veiled. And all in India, predominantly, we wear, all rural India for sure wears red as a mark of fertility and fitness. So everyone's wearing these red and gold saris, and their veils are down to their woman, and they show her, and they haven't addressed this, but obviously underage marriages, girls who are not educated, they don't know from where the boy has come. They've gotten married. Maybe they've seen him one time before. Maybe they've never seen him before. They just, and in there's where they said, how could you not follow? She goes, I just followed somebody with new shoes because they were new shoes. I mean, I had to follow because they can only look down. So naye jute, everybody has new shoes. So I was followed him out. And the other boy took the other girl home and they're like, what is going on? So there's no mobiles because the girl gave everything to the husband. Oh, keep it for me. So many things are being addressed.
Yeah,
And
and so the real story actually starts after they got swapped. Like, one is missing, one is swapped. So and the two lead actresses, they did a great job by showing their struggles differently. And one is looking for freedom while the other one is trapped by the circumstances and wishes she could be, she could make her own choices. So yes. And one husband is very nice, family is very nice, whereas the other one is like a criminal, a very, disrespectful to women. So it's really interesting. And the one was totally dependent and didn't know anything, and the other one was well qualified. She was a brilliant student, and she was forced into this marriage where the other one got into it very willingly. She was happy, excited, like typical, a girl would be like, I mean, the way they grew up or they have been like conditioned. So, and the interesting part was how their life totally changed from the one who was totally dependent is now independent, started earning, made friends, understood life, whereas the other one is got into totally into a very good family. Like she never knew a family could be like this, a man could be that nice. She felt that angle as well, where she was totally like in that denial mode. Okay, it is typical. It is always a sad story for a woman after marriage. That got changed for her. And the one thing I really like the most about this movie is a non-judgmental feminism.
Yes.
Feminism is, generally feminism is about giving women the freedom to make their own choices, whether that's pursuing a career or starting a family or doing both. Right? Unfortunately, some people deliberately misinterpret this message, spreading the false idea that feminism is all about, we want power, we want to just work, we want to be careers. Exactly. It's a movement all the time or career driven. They don't think of the family or anybody.
Bad word, right? Feminism. Oh my God, she's a feminist.
Exactly. On, yeah, and this actually creates a division among women when in reality, feminism is about empowering each woman to choose her own path. In this movie, rather than following a predictable feminist narrative, the movie highlights the women autonomy. One bride chooses to embrace her independence while other opts to return to her marital life. So the key message is the power of choice. That's what I felt.
Where I also love that she didn't get into the complication of would the woman be accepted back in the family. They obviously saw how innocent she was. She went running to her husband that, oh God, you're here. And it just showed a beauty that arranged marriage also can just create a bond day one just because you're married to each other. 2 days they stayed for the Monday.
Yeah. And overall, a good movie. I loved it. Before even
5 out of 5.
Yeah, I loved it. 5-star from my side also.
Now, switching gears a little bit over here, this book. Oh my God. I was going through the books I just picked it up. I'm like, okay, let me read this. Doesn't sound like something I'll normally read. It sounds like a romance novel or whatever. But it's about love, but it's not romance. That's how they're projecting it, right? Yeah. Sam and Sadie. Oh my God. These characters are so beautiful. And Namita, you're the only one I thought of sharing this with because it's got that science background, right?
So, yeah, I just read one chapter of this, Simrit, after you recommended. And I was like, oh my God, I loved it. I can't wait to finish it because it's a very well started. I felt, before you tell more about this, I felt like energy, lively, young. It's like, and the way it has the language, I loved it. The way that, the conversation is like actually the real time conversation is happening in your, mind. If you're actually in that state, I really loved it. It was not like a story. It was actually like a conversation, which you can actually relate to. So it's really nice. Well written so far. I have read what I would say.
And well, so spoiler alert, you're going to get to know some stuff. So this book, it goes on in parts. It's like those movies, like, which you start at one point and it keeps going for decades amongst it. And at the core is the relationship between Sadie Green and Sam Masur. Now, these are two kids who basically are around the same age. and they meet in a hospital. Sadie's sister is suffering from cancer, and Sam's had an accident with it, which they don't reveal till much later what's happened. And they literally meet in the children's hospital because Sadie was thrown out by her sister, who at that time didn't want her around. And she went into the play area where there was a PlayStation and or some kind of gaming console. Sorry, I mean, this is supposed to...
Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo. Okay, so it's the Nintendo. And she goes up to this boy and she's just watching him play. And he goes, "Oh, do you want to play too?" And then she does it. And then they're just having this easy conversation for 2 weeks. So as she comes out of and just the beginning part, I think you've already read this. So as she comes out of and the nurse goes, "Oh, so did you have a good time?" And they didn't even realize it's been 2 hours. She goes, "Yeah, I was talking." She goes, "Who was there?" She goes, "Some kid named Sam." And the nurse is like, "He spoke to you?" And she goes, "Yeah." So they walk away. And the mom is called by the nurse, and she goes, basically what happens is that Sam hadn't spoken for like a month, like a few weeks. He'd not said a word because his mom had died in the accident. And then, so she ends up being his like chat buddy because he doesn't talk to anybody. And so that's how their friendship at the core develops. Then he sees her, the book starts where he sees her at a train station and then he calls her and they're both laughing and they have these inside jokes. I guess you didn't die of dysentery, because that's what her sister would always never say, "I died of cancer," say, "I died of dysentery," because it'll be so funny on the tombstone. So that's their inside. So they have these beautiful, just like old friends do, beautiful inside jokes, great platonic relationship with that underlying romance all through these 300 some pages. It's so beautiful. And then they get together and then they become their coders. So they're going to universities to learn coding and make games and be gamers. A lot of it has to do with gaming, how it's like an art, how you can express yourself through games. Through the movie, all the way to San Francisco, where they set up a company together with Sam's roommate. Through the decades, what beautiful friendship they show. They keep fighting, they keep getting together, and that underlying current always, which triggers everything. It was so well written, this book, and it was so creative, and it makes you how science and gaming can be like an art. Everything was so beautiful in this book. Also, I found new respect, for game development, how intense this process is, and then it's just like with writing or painting or music or a movie direction, because when this you launch this, you put your heart, your soul, your blood, your sweat into creating this game, and then you launch it. And then because for me, I'm not a gamer, I don't realize if it flops, it's like the big budget movies flopping, and how people's reviews, how you have to go, just like a book launch and do a book tour, you have to do a game tour. But reading this will give you a new insight into what the new age demands. Also, it gave me respect into life, because it is a form of escapism. We listen to music, that's my thing. I read my books, but playing the games is also a form of escapism. Of course, how they get addicted, that is something we curb. But functioning, if you come back from work and you want a game, I get it now. Earlier I couldn't understand it, to be honest. I do.
Great. So what is your rating for the book?
Oh, I'm so stingy and I hate to give 5 stars, but I mean, of course there's predictable, but I think this author won my respect. It's a 5 for me.
Wow, wow, we have all house full of 5 for both. Great.
If you're into a little bit tech, if you like what we talked about, it was an amazing.
Okay, that's all on Talk to Us today. If you want us to share anything or talk about any topic, do let us know in the comment section, or you can email us at hello@talktoustoday.com and let your friends know where to find us.
And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to stay notified of our videos every Friday at 6 p.m. Remember to talk to us today.
Yeah,
keep smiling,
keep
laughing, and keep talking.
Talking.
Guys, next Friday.
Bye.
Thank you.